I am here with Remi Korchemny, Nonito's speed and agility coach. They brought you on. You've worked with some top, class track athletes over the years. Dwayne Chambers comes to mind. Kelly White.
Kelly White, Christy Gaines.
And I mean, you've had Olympic and world champions in your corner. And
Harrison.
How did you wind up with boxing?
Victor Conte.
Victor Conte again. His name is always coming up.
He always tried to find.
He sucked you back in.
No, something new for the different sport. We just talk with him about similarity of different sports, and I started to tell him that I think that boxers and tennis players has a lot of similarity.
You're right.
And he said, I have some boxers that you will like to work with and try to develop something for them. I know that I'm very creative. It's just, I like to design something new. I like to apply something new in training. Number one, because of overeducated. Being overeducated.
You're overeducated. Now, what is your education background?
I have PhD in physiology.
Do you? PhD in physiology. Yeah. Where did you earn that PhD?
In '62 in Odessa.
In Odessa, Russia?
Yes.
Now, you were in Russia that was during the Soviet Union years.
Until '74.
Yes.
I was in the team, Ukrainian team and Soviet Union team, sprint coach, and my background was rich because I spent a lot of years in sports science. So I conducted a lot of researches and I had a lot of publications about.
You published a lot of articles about speed and conditioning,
yes, including United States and books. And so I like to introduce something new and organize something new in training.
What was it like training athletes in the Soviet Union as opposed to in the United States? Were the athletes more disciplined?
It's not the discipline. Number one, they try to organize all athletes in the long training camps under guidance of big scientific team, and coaches work very close with the scientists, and they conduct every step of athletes. It doesn't mean that it will be a new world record or whatever, but in case of organization, all Eastern system was very, very organized.
So you learned a lot about training because you were able to detail every step of the way.
Absolutely. And what positive is that I learned from that time. Always set a goal. Always see what I want to achieve and educate athletes to approach the same way. You cannot cook a soup if you don't know consequences of putting meat, vegetables, and salt in the pot in order to have good taste.
Right. Sure.
In the many instances, coaches just train; they don't know what is next, how to make a good soup.
You know the soup recipe, though.
I know how to prepare. I know how to cook. Despite in boxing, I am not a main cook. I am just only person who cut carrots.
You cut carrots. Now, let me ask you a question. Who is the most talented athlete that you ever trained in your mind? The most talent?
I think Dwayne Chambers.
Dwayne Chambers, the best natural athlete you ever trained?
Yes. I still have in my brain a rhythm of his running.
Really?
Yes.
What was so good? What was so great about him? What was his main talent in your mind?
Ability to be very explosive and very rapidly to deliver forces to his acceleration, and it was his strongest part. It's reason that he became a world champion in 60 meters because he had an excellent rate of acceleration.
Right. No one can.
I still use his video and his segments of running to educate another sprinters and another athletes.
That's pretty impressive. So let's talk about Nonito Donaire. Okay, he's a smaller guy. He only in the boxing ring he weigh 118 pounds. What was, I guess, you had to come up with a recipe, if I might use your words. What was the recipe for Nonito Donaire's success?
Number one, I never worked with boxers before that.
Right.
And before I start to train him, I took a couple videos and I just start to look how they move, where the most important ability of develop and deploy power is in boxing. And I start to analyze how they're moving, and I came to conclusion that the most important thing that I have to develop in Nonito and another athlete is the ability to reverse efforts. I call it reversibility of efforts.
Which means what exactly?
It means that you have immediately change from one direction to another without wasting time and without special preparation. And I start to train and educate Nonito to do reverse efforts.
And what techniques do you use to teach
Number
that?
one, I start to apply my bungee cord, and you could see it from pictures, whatever.
I've seen the videos where you have bungee cords and you have these guys run with the cords.
Yes, run with the cord.
And you do it too, I saw.
Yes, I use it a lot for sprinters.
Yeah.
But then I design special way how to educate boxers to use it and how to benefit from using cord.
Will this fight will we see the best Nonito Donaire that we've ever seen, the most explosive, the most powerful?
Yes, he is very good in this case. As a matter of fact, I have even numbers, how many repetitions you can do of sets with these cable drills, and he did maximum that I ever apply for athletes. We go through the number 6.
Wow.
And by number 6, I had, for example, Andre Ward, when he was at his best shape and when he fight after training with me, we had this magic number 6 that he could survive. It's very hard to survive 6 sets of 4 different drills, and it lasts about more than a minute, and you have about 35-40 second rest between them. It's very hard to repeat.
They're interval training.
Things that also impress me in boxing, that they have to recover within very short period of time. Something similar like we have when we train in running, capacity of anaerobic lactate power. And when I start to use this kind of approach, because in sport, the same like in nutrition, our body does not recognize word bread, sugar, meat. We recognize protein, carbohydrates, minerals, whatever. And our enzyme and our glands start to produce different enzymes in order to break down protein, fat, or carbohydrates. They don't know name of watermelon or something else. The same in sport. Our body, when we load it, body doesn't recognize name 2 times 200 or 5 times 100 or run forward or run back, pull the cable, put that. We recognize how much force we have to produce in shorter time or longer time, and how we can sustain our body of being contaminated with lactic acid and free radical. Because within short period of rest, we have to learn how to restore all this poison back to nutrients that we will use for future execution.
Can he recover quicker than he's ever recovered?
It was I start to train him, and he start recover better and better and better. And as a matter of fact, in the last training, when we did 6 repetitions or 6 sets, he demonstrated excellent condition. Another drill that I developed for boxers against, I use different hurdling drills for hurdlers and sprinters. And I discovered that boxers need not just only to move forward and back, they have to move with their body, shifting weight from one leg to another, and at the same time be capable again to produce efforts to fight. And I designed special drill for boxers, and now if you see the video, you can see how they move over the hurdles and how they can return efforts and produce fast movements.
Well, now you're the boxing expert trainer.
I would not say that I'm boxing, but I expert in conditioning of boxers.
You're putting in new elements to their routines that they've never ever experienced before. That's more applicable to what they're doing in the boxing ring.
Because from my knowledge, even people who has education in kinesiology, physiology, or sport, they think that they know everything. But I met so many thousand coaches and educate thousand coaches that they don't know how to apply this knowledge for sport. They think that they understand everything, but they deal with the sport as a sport itself. I don't claim that I'm professional in baseball, I'm professional in football, and I'm professional in track or box. But I know exactly how to develop different condition of different metabolism. For example, we have different metabolism for different sports. In sprint, we deal mostly with anaerobic lactate metabolism. So we have to apply special exercises, duration, intensity, and rest in order to restore ability to use this kind of metabolism. Then we have metabolism lactate, anaerobic lactate metabolism. This anaerobic lactate metabolism we can divide again into parts: power of metabolism and capacity. What different? For example, if I have $1,000 and I go to Walmart, it will take me long time to spend $1,000 buying T-shirts. And I can go to Bloomingdale or Saks with $1,000 and immediately spend this $1,000 buying just one jacket. So your body and your brains have to recognize when you have applied your energy and
in a more efficient way.
Metabolism. No, sometimes we need to go to Walmart and spend $1,000 gradually. Sometimes we have to spend $1,000 instantly. So we have to train people to
both ways. Both ways. Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay. Prediction for the fight. Look into the camera. Who wins? Does Nonito Donaire win?
I want him win. I don't like any prediction, but I know that he ready to fight very efficiently, that he ready to fight any number of rounds, including 12, and I know that he always can deliver his best effort anytime when he want and he need.